Hi there, folks.
Hi, everyone.
Just before 8 o'clock, we've actually just got everyone on mute at the moment. We've got a couple of faces. Hello. Goeiemorgen of goeienaand.
That's to the South Africans.
We didn't tell you that this webinar is all going to be in Afrikaans, so if you... Only kidding.
He didn't tell me either.
All right, just check that we've got some volume there as well. Okay, so I will mute everyone in a second. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Okay, I've got everyone on mute, so we'll jump in and we'll stick to time. We are recording this evening's session or tomorrow morning's session. We've got thumbs up, you can hear us. That's all good. Excellent. Folks, thank you very, very much for joining, and it's lovely to have such keen interest in the launch of doTERRA into South Africa. So before we start, we just wanted to give a quick introduction of who we are. Obviously, we've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of you over the years of being involved in doTERRA. But my name's Craig, and Tess can introduce herself as well. We are fortunate enough to be doTERRA Blue Diamonds as of last year, November. Been involved in the business almost 5 years now. What initially started as Tess working with the essential oils and her clinic in a naturopath business. And from my side, when my role was made redundant, doTERRA stepped in and kept me out of trouble for a good 18 months and helped us build a lot of the systems and process that has got us to where we are now. So we're very excited about the South African opportunity. This is something we've been working on for almost 2 years with our family in South Africa. We've been shipping over as much as we can. We've been teaching as much as we can. We've been sending packages to parents and packing stuff in sisters and brothers and parents' suitcases, and we'll share some of that with you this evening. So at the moment, I work full-time in financial services, and fortunately our kids are old enough that gives us the time to run doTERRA business after hours. I'm not sure if you want to add anything, Tess, just an introduction?
No, people know me, I think. That's all good.
All right, excellent. So we're going to run through a lot of the questions that we've been asked over the last probably 6 months as doTERRA started getting close to announcing. If you think of any questions along the way, please just start typing a note in the chat if you want to. We will open up and see if anyone has questions and pose questions as well, probably towards the end, and I'm sure people have got a lot of questions. We don't have all the answers, clearly, and at the moment, probably no one other than Emily Wright knows all the answers, as well as her partners at doTERRA. So we are, in a lot of ways, as much in the dark as what everyone else is, but we will certainly try and share with you as much as what we know and answer any questions that we've had in the last couple of weeks. So did you want to jump in?
Over to me, yeah, I'll just do that. So I'm sure most of you would know that doTERRA now has an official website for South Africa. So you can just, I can't read you the whole link now, but you can just go Google search for doTERRA South Africa, and they've listed there a few frequently asked questions. And they've updated that recently. So I've just gone through that and sort of printed out a few things, and I'll talk around that. And then we've also got the South African Facebook page. So they're starting to get quite active on that Facebook page, which is just magical. It's really wonderful. Invite you and all of your South African contacts to start getting involved on that Facebook page. I think the more we get involved, the more people will see it and the more people join in, and the better for our businesses. So just to give you sort of just a little summary of what doTERRA's put out, they have teased us with basically saying that they'll put up their launch date very soon. And they've said that it will be somewhere in the winter of this year, so somewhere between July and September. And about a month before that, so anytime soon, from about June or July, we can probably expect them to announce their launch date. So, you know, we're waiting very patiently, and we're very excited about that announcement, because sort of 30 days out, what they'll announce is, one, the actual launch date. Number two, they'll announce their product list, their product range. And then they will also put out their Founders Club requirements. And there's a lot of conversation around Founders Club, and I'll throw over later just to Craig, just to talk to you all about the Founders Club and what we know, and, you know, just a few ideas around that. The product range is going to be expected to be quite small. In the beginning, they talk about between 30 and 50 products. And they'll also talk about the fact that it's going to be your sort of a basic range of oils, affordable essential oils. You know, I don't think we're going to see Melissa, for example, or, you know, anything like that anytime soon in South Africa. They will add that as the market grows. They're also looking at the skincare that would be the same as what is available in the US, and the personal care products as well. So I think we'll see a little, you know, skincare range, we'll see some personal care, and we'll see some core essential oils. I don't know if I can make this assumption, but when I see them advertise something, the oils that they put up on their Facebook page, to me it makes sense that maybe we can look at those oils, you know, being the oils that they're going to start with in South Africa. That's just an assumption that I'm making, because we just don't know. They will subsidize, that's the plan. They say they'll subsidize the cost of the oils and the shipping initially as well. They're looking at a flat rate for shipping, and we will not be getting in South Africa the shipping rewards points. Again, that will come out later, but in the beginning there won't be shipping rewards points. The warehouse will be, well, they're saying it will be located in Johannesburg, and it's a third-party warehouse. So you can't pick up your oils, you'll order it and they'll ship it to you. And then the other thing is they won't have the supplements yet. Okay, so just in terms of those oils and products, there won't be supplements to start off with.
And just to add to that, from what we can see, they also won't have access to an American purchase shop.
Yeah.
So like with some of the European countries, they can only purchase the products that will be on sale in South Africa, because obviously it's going to be just as difficult for doTERRA to ship from the USA to South Africa as what it is currently for someone to ship as well. So it will just be the products that will be available in South Africa.
Okay. So basically, something that we're going to have to sort of look at is a few things will be, you know, most things will be exactly the same. Like, you'll have the same compensation plan, and if I just look at the exchange rate, oh, our South African families are going to be laughing, and our friends are going to be laughing all the way to the bank with that exchange rate, because the compensation plan will pretty much be the same. So what an incredible opportunity to bring some wealth into into the market over there. It's very exciting. Even if it's just, you know, I don't know. I'm very excited about that part of it. So same thing, product of the month, 125 PV orders, all of those sort of things are the same. They'll be able to resell as well. So that's exciting. Compliance is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, we've got to be very mindful as we're teaching our teams over there about compliance. They will not be approved for internal use. Okay, so if we cannot talk about internal use at all. It's just Okay, it's illegal. So,
so the conversation will be aromatic and topical.
Aromatic and topical, that's
and
it.
We are aware that doTERRA compliance are already looking at Facebook posts in South Africa, and they are in contact with South African groups currently and warning them about some of the comments and posts that they have made. So be aware that because they're prepping for the launch, we need to be very, very careful, because it's a new product, it's a new company, it's a new business, and we have to make absolutely sure that we launch it in the perfect, ethical, correct, compliant way, so that we don't prejudice anyone else going forward. So absolutely, let's get diffusers in front of people, and let's talk aromatic and topical. And that's the message.
And
that's
quite easy, because we're not going to talk about supplements over there yet anyway. And so, you know, it's just topical, aromatic. I'm actually quite excited about that, because I believe that's a really easy way to, you know, to spread the word about the essential oils anyway, and it doesn't open up this whole, oh, can we or can we not take it internally. So I'm quite excited about starting out like that in South Africa anyway. Let me just see, I've made a few notes, and okay, Craig, I think I'm going to hand that over to you now.
Sure.
And you talk about a few things.
Shane, I did see your comment adding to food. I suppose it'll be an interesting one, because a lot of the conversation in some countries at the moment is they talk about food additive. I'm not even sure, there's no mention of that in the frequently asked questions. So I'm going to err on the side of we talking aromatic and topical. Until such time as they give us some further clearance in South Africa, that's all we'll mention.
Yeah, let's just stay.
And certainly the classes that Tess will be running over there in June, which she'll talk about, that will be an intro class that will be aromatic and topical.
I'm quite happy to say to people in Australia, we're okay to use it for flavouring. I'm quite happy to say, you know, so I don't know if a whole nation is committing suicide by doing that. I don't know. We do it, make up your own mind if you want to use it for flavouring. So there you go, Craig.
All right, excellent. So Tess has touched on the compliance already. So obviously, we're very aware that there are a lot of groups that are getting started, and they're Facebook groups and closed groups and pages. There's a lot of advertising going on in South Africa at the moment, because we've been waiting for so long and people are getting really excited about it. But one of the comments that's made on the frequently asked questions, which I think is really, really important to reinforce, is let's not do something for the benefit of short-term commission at the detriment of a long-term successful business in South Africa. And I'm not going to call out some of the activities that are going on at the moment where people are marketing and literally trying to flog product into South Africa. It is happening. And I think if you are talking to people over there, just be very aware of the practices that's going on, and make sure that people understand the options currently until such time as doTERRA actually opens up in South Africa. So let me talk you through probably the three things, or the three options that we've been following largely since about July, September last year. So when we started engaging with my sister, my parents in South Africa, my mum and dad in Port Elizabeth were really keen to get their hands on the oils. I investigated the use of my US and border links as a global access on freight forwarding system from the US. I tried both of them. Border links worked perfectly in about April last year. It cost me over $130 just in shipping cost. And then my parents got hit with import duty in South Africa. So a home essentials kit cost us almost 500 Australian dollars to get to my mum in South Africa. I then tried my US. My US then asked me for a copy of the doTERRA invoice, because they didn't think that I'd quoted the correct US prices. They then got the invoice, and they then invoiced me for all the import duty, VAT, and there's a 15% VAT into South Africa. So that cost me another arm and a leg to get product to my sister-in-law in South Africa by my US. We were then told by both of those freight forwarding systems, and we've now been told that TNT and FedEx will not ship essential oils from doTERRA. So to get product currently as a global access from America is really, really difficult through the mail.
So even the freight forwarding companies, if you find a freight forwarding company that says, yeah, we'll ship it, at some point, and we found with all of them and through the contact that we've had in these other groups, is suddenly they'll go, no, we're not shipping that because it's essential oils. So just be very aware of that. It is an issue. And yeah,
I think the big thing is
not an option for us.
When you're reaching out and engaging to someone who maybe is not a family member and they're expecting to pay a certain price, and suddenly they get smashed with an import duty and a 15% VAT on top, and they're paying 10 to 1 to the Aussie dollar, 15 to 1 to the US dollar, you know, it's very different, and it's a financial massive smack in the face. And we owe it to the people there to follow the best possible way. So our current point of view is we are not enrolling anyone until such time as it opens in South Africa.
We're not shipping products to them.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, we're not shipping products from the US. If they want to sign up with a $35 sign up and get in, that's fine. But and if they don't have anyone in the US as a family member who can actually physically bring the oils across for them or mail it across or something and take charge of that, we won't do it through freight forwarding at all.
So the conversations we're having at the moment is, number one, let's help educate you and get you ready for the launch. So first priority. Obviously, Tess is going to be in South Africa for 5 weeks. We plan to get back there as soon as we can once the announcement's made that it's launching. We've got Erica online at the moment, who's up in Pretoria, and we're really excited to work with Erica in June. And Erica's sorting out a lot of the classes and stuff for us in Pretoria, and really excited about kicking that off and getting that kicking off. So first priority for us is let's engage, let's educate, let's share videos, let's give them the share guide, let's give them the build guide, let's get on Zoom chats and webinars, and let's talk about how amazing this company is and the product is. With that conversation, we try and get samples to them. Now, fortunately, we've got oils on the ground in South Africa. I've got, well, certainly Erica's got in Pretoria, and we've got family members around the Bloemfontein area and down in Port Elizabeth that have got some oils. So we are then sharing some samples with them. So at least they're getting their hands into the oils and starting to experience it. What we are finding is that it's all of the subsidiary industries that will come into South Africa, like diffusers, sample bottles, all that stuff, it's not freely available in South Africa. So to try and even buy a diffuser on the ground in South Africa, you can go and trawl through Discom chemists as much as you like. You may not even find a diffuser on the ground in South Africa. So there's going to be this whole expansion of sort of additional industries, we sure, obviously over time. And I'm sure some wellness advocates might even get into that and start looking to build that as part of a business. So our first point is education, get ready for some classes, and let's try and get you some samples. If the person is really excited, absolutely committed, they want to enroll, they understand the business model, and they want to join up. There are people that are enrolling people in other countries. So there are some people in South Africa that have been enrolled as members in the UK or enrolled as members in Australia. We've been warned against that because of the fact that Founders Club may be jeopardized because they were members of another country, number one.
We're not global access.
Okay, we don't know for sure, but it may jeopardize their position for Founders Club because they were a member of another country. We don't know. So we're just not taking that chance. Also, in the frequently asked questions, only global access customers will be automatically converted to South African accounts. So if you're a member of another country, you are not going to be told and you are not going to be automatically converted. So you're not going to have a South African back office. So you're then going to have to contact the customer service center in whichever country you've been registered in order to get your back office changed and your address changed and your account changed back to South Africa at some point when they're able to do it and when they're ready to do it. So we really believe you're either a global access customer or you're not. So we have the option, and we've been fortunate in Australia with the Australian head office. We have got consent from the Australian head office to register someone from South Africa as a global access customer, but with our Australian mailing address, not a US mailing address. All right? It's a special situation. They do not get a back office. They do not get a doTERRA logon because it's a special situation. They can then order and it comes to us, and we've only done this a couple of times. We then package it up and we send it Australian Post, registered express. We cross our fingers and we hope it gets to South Africa.
So all their orders have to be done manually through the Australian, but through this Australian member services, all the account managers.
Yeah. So it's a logistics nightmare. It's a risk. And there's potential import duties and all sorts of stuff anyway. So that's kind of the second option. Go with the global access and use the Australian. The third option is obviously we've got a sister in Chicago, and we've got some people that have been registered as global access with USA address with friends and family, and they then do the normal global access to America and then fly the product or try and repackage and ship it from America, but costly. So those are the only three things that we're doing currently. I will call out, and I've run the numbers on this, and I think to my earlier point, we need to do what's right for the people in South Africa who want these oils. Firstly, let me just tell you, if you become a member through the UK, it's £20 or €20 to become that member if you don't buy an enrollment kit. That works out at almost 400 Rand. If you're an Australian global access, it's $35, which is only 350 Rand. It's a 50 Rand saving just by choosing the right country. If you're an American global access, it's 500 Rand because it's $35 US. Then you compare home essentials kits. If I buy a home essentials kit through the UK in pound, it's 4,400 Rand for a home essentials kit. If I buy that same home essentials kit in Australian dollars, it's 3,300 Rand. It's 1,000 Rand more expensive to register as a UK member and buy the UK kit using foreign currency. That's just the reality. That's the commerciality of this. So if you're going to be trying to manipulate ways of getting people to enroll and join, do what's best for them, find the best solution. And at the moment, hand on heart, with the proximity of the launch in South Africa, the best solution is wait until they're ready to register and get people lined up, share as much as you can. If you want to get some product in their hands, talk around, let's find out where there's product in South Africa, let's at least get them some samples, or through our connections, let's try and get them a bottle of peppermint, or we've got Citrus Bliss everywhere in South Africa. So if you want to get them Citrus Bliss, we've got bottles of Citrus Bliss. So we're not doing this to flog product, not at all. We're just saying we've got some product there, and I'm sure if you reach out, there are people with some product available. Let's get product to them, and we've got to somehow get them diffusers. Because if we're talking about aromatic and topical, if they don't have a diffuser and they're not using the oils every day.
And we know there's a wellness advocate in the UK.
Yeah.
They actually take the diffusers out, and then that's their cost for shipping that they then keep. They're offsetting that, so they keep the diffusers out. We really want people to have diffusers, so you know, it's a huge part of the experience. So yeah, anyway,
all right.
yeah, I do think that's a better way to probably look at it. Just in terms of, I think we can wait a little bit before we launch into, unless you've got someone who says, I want to be a builder, yes, okay, then get them a kit and, you know, send it to them if you can. But to sign people up as consumers of the product, I don't think we're doing the best for them at the moment. There are cheaper ways, and it might be better for them to wait just a little bit.
Sure. So just leading on to that, and I'll finish with this, there's a lot of noise in the social media space about you have to enroll now because you need to be part of Founders Club, and you've got to get in first because you need to start building for Founders Club. Yes, no. We don't even know what the requirements for Founders Club are going to be. We know that somebody who eventually qualifies for Founders Club will share in 1% of the total commissionable earnings in South Africa. And that will be fantastic for the people who eventually rank as founders. Brilliant. They've told us they will let us know what those qualifications will be, probably a month out from when they start Founders Club. And we'll wait and see. In some countries in Europe, the requirements for Founders Club are gold for the year. In some countries, it's diamond. In some countries, it's platinum. And the majority of your downline has to be in that country.
Like 80%.
All right. So generally, the rule is they look at your downline, and 80% of that downline OV has to be in the country that you're qualifying for Founders Club. So it's a bit of a misleading marketing to say you've got to enroll with me now so that you get in at the top of the tree and you can be part of Founders Club. It just doesn't work that way. I think if you engage with people and share with them the business model and get them excited and starting to build lists of names and even having groups of people together to talk about the product now in preparation for the launch, I think it's going to be way more exciting to have 20 or 30 people to enroll on day dot, where you can actually start enrolling with 20 or 30 people and build out your team structure, and have this time before the launch to start thinking about who are those people that are with me and starting to build names lists, and who are those people that are really excited that I'm going to give them prime real estate on my front line, and they've already booked a class for me, you know, and we're starting to talk about some of those things. And I think that's more exciting than, with all due respect, misleading people into thinking that they've got to be in first because they're going to have something better or something more than where they are. Okay.
Right. Let's just quickly answer some of those questions. Have you got anything else that you'll be wanting to share? Craig gets so excited about this. I think he's excited to let me go for 5 weeks. Aren't you?
Yeah, not really. There has been a question, what if someone's been living in Australia and now living in SA, signed up in Oz? Same situation as anyone who moves to any other country. They're going to request a change of their base account, and they will change it to an Australian account.
They have to request that.
They've got to request it. Again, I'm not sure what that implication is for Founders Club. I'm presuming they would have to discuss that with the head office when that happens. But I mean, the reality is Hayley Hobson's a founder of Europe, and she has a US-based account. So if Hayley can be a European founder, I'm sure there are ways of doing that. So if someone's been an Aussie member and now lives in Australia or in South Africa, I'm sure they can find a way to do it.
We can be founders if you have your legs in South Africa. I'll just answer that question. Another question that came up is, what do you mean keeping the diffusers out? In the Home Essentials kit, they'll sign people up in the UK with the Home Essentials kit. They'll take the diffuser out, keep it as, you know, offset, resell it, whatever they do with it. I don't know what they do with it. And then they just send the oils through. Okay, so people are getting signed up, but without the diffuser in their hand.
Yeah.
I have got a petal diffuser at my auntie's in Howick. That's Sharon. Sharon's got maybe, you know, Sharon.
Sharon, if you just want to maybe post in this event, if you want to just pop in your details. I'm sorry, I can just see Sharon. I can't see her surname. So if anyone is looking for a petal diffuser in Howick in Natal area,
good.
Sharon says she can maybe assist.
There's business opportunities there. And then someone also asked about my tour dates. I will absolutely invite people along. Obviously, I'm going over there to build our team and to create our team. But a little bit closer to the time, I'll give you my dates. You will be very welcome to pass the dates on to your people over there. And just a bit closer to the time, because I have limited spaces in the venues that I've booked. We'd love to welcome, you know, and open it up to you guys at all, and we will do that, but a bit closer to the time. So, and then I'll post the dates. I'll post all the events and everything in the leaders groups so that you have access to that. But I might just give it to you now. So, if you have people in Pretoria, Johannesburg, I'll be doing, well, I'll be there doing, probably that class will be on the Saturday. It's booked for the Saturday. And that's Saturday the 8th of June. So if there's some spaces, I know Erica's working hard at filling up that space for me, but I think we'll have more than enough. It's an expandable space, that one, so we can spill over a bit. Then the 15th of June, I will be in the center of the country, very cold, Bloemfontein. Okay, Bloemfontein. Maybe I should pronounce it in Aussie. Bloemfontein?
Yeah.
Is that it?
And in all of these venues, it's a 9:30 in the morning till 12. So it's a 3-hour class with intro and business explanation. And then it's duplicated again from 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So 8th in Pretoria, 15th in Bloem.
Then I go to Cape Town, and I can't wait for Cape Town. We're going to be Cape Town the 22nd of June. I am there for longer, but I've got family, and I'll, you know, catch up with old school friends and all sorts of things and do one-on-ones. And then the 29th, I'm in Port Elizabeth, which is in the Eastern Cape. That's close to my home. So those are the dates. It's mostly the Saturdays, because the Sundays, it's difficult to find a venue that's actually available on Sundays. Saturdays seem to be the more available venues, and they're all booked, all done. So limited spaces, but some of them are expandable spaces. So we'll let you know. Okay, we'd love to support you guys, and since I'm there on the ground, I'm quite a good speaker, so I think I'll be entertaining. And, you know, just saying.
The problem is getting Tess to limit it to 3 hours, and I'm not going to be there to keep her on time either. So
true story.
We'll have to see.
Okay.
All right, excellent. So Sharon's already shared some contact details on the discussion, which is great. Did you have anything else there, Tess? Otherwise, if anyone has any questions, you have the option to unmute yourself by just clicking on your microphone if you want to fire a question at the group, or if you want to type anything else into the chat area. But realistically, folks, that's kind of it. That's kind of what we know. That's what we're doing. The reality is, when we look at the Philippines, which goes live in July and officially August, but they'll go live on the ground in July, they were planning to have the Philippines operational by May. So Philippines are 1-2 months a little bit behind. We're still hoping that with convention coming up in September, that we get a go live date for South Africa ahead of convention, or definitely there or thereabouts in time. So as soon as we know what's going to happen, then we can get things fired up, and we'll see the classes roll out all over the country. I'm sure there'll be people on the ground. They're really keen and excited to get going.
Absolutely. There's some questions here about where's the class on the 9th? It's at the 8th. So the class on the 8th of June is in Pretoria. Okay, so that's the one. Thank you for the compliments. Yeah, I'm a great speaker. doTERRA will be amazing. I will have my poop charts there too. Some people don't know what we're talking about. All right. There was a question up just further, although I'm not in your downline. Yeah. Absolutely. And I don't want anything in return. So we're going to South Africa to promote doTERRA. Guys, this is for us as a community of essential oil lovers. We know what it's doing for us. Can you just imagine, for those of you who know South Africa, who you've maybe been there, you've spoken to your wonderful South African friends, you know there's a need over there for, it's a big why for me. So, you know, I haven't been one to stand on stage and share my why, but for us, it's about raising the hope and the spirit, and create something for people to trust in more. Thank you, Caroline. So yeah, it's about, there's a big why for me. So if we can help in any way, and this is why we also put this on tonight, just to sort of be a little bit in front of you and and see how many of you are on here tonight is really wonderful. So yeah, it's a pleasure, and hopefully it will go really, really well over there.
I'll make sure that I'll pop all the dates into this event. So anyone who, I mean, if you've marked that you're attending this event, if I put a comment in there, you'll get notified that there's a comment. So I'll put in the event dates. Just going to have a browse of our Healthy Wealthy Facebook page, which the events are on anyway. So all the information is there as well.
So I will put up, I'm just answering questions, folks. So we will put up, we'll put up a full list of where we'll be, and just all the details. We'll put it up on the leaders groups, but for now, just maybe put it out to your South African contacts, the dates that I've given you. So the 8th in Pretoria, the 15th in Bloemfontein, the 22nd in Cape Town, and the 29th in Port Elizabeth. Okay, I'm going to run a class, just answering questions. I'm going to run the class a little bit differently, perhaps. We will introduce them and have them smell maybe just a few of the essential oils, but I want to talk about the company. I want to talk about Healing Hands. I want to talk about why this is something you want to be involved with, and I want to talk to them about the opportunity. So I will talk about the compensation plan, basically how it all works, and I won't get too much into the business training side of things, but we will obviously, you know, there's a lot to do in business training, but we'll try and explain to people what basically needs to happen to run or to start a business or to start sharing as well. So I'm going to be spending a good 3 hours in front of each group, so there'll be, you know, time for questions and all of that as well. Okay.
There was a question around who will possibly be going to the launch as far as international leaders. No idea.
We've put our hands up, but
whether they take Prezi Diamond leaders, I'm quite sure they will. They'd want some presidentials to go along. We're hoping certainly that they want someone who can speak one of the official languages. So we can certainly give that one a try. I'm not sure I want to be translating all the essential oil names into Afrikaans though. We've already seen some interesting comments on Facebook trying to translate stuff into Afrikaans. And we're not into any of the black languages or the Xhosa and Zulu yet, but we'll see how we go. So posting in leaders groups, I think there's just the Australian leaders Facebook group that we advertise this event in.
Australia, New Zealand.
We'll just confirm availability in there. Otherwise, I'll keep tagging people in this event on our page. Someone might have unmuted themselves to ask a question.
Yeah, it was me, Crystal. Thank you so much.
Hi, Crystal.
Thanks so much for tonight, guys. It's been great. I just wanted to ask, will you do anything like this for interested South African people, just to do something similar like you're doing on the ground? Are you planning on doing like an overview of the company or anything like that?
Oh, we certainly can, Crystal.
Yeah.
We haven't thought that far, but I think the more, maybe even, you know,
we can totally collaborate with you.
Absolutely. And I think we're happy to collaborate with whoever would like to, you know, get involved. As I said to you, it's just such a big why, and I get very, I get quite emotional when I think about where this can go and what this can do for a nation. So, yeah, we can talk about that. Send me a message or something like that. It will be when I come. I'm only back end of July.
Yeah, so just to connect with one of the other questions, unfortunately, we're not going to be at convention this year because we actually fly to Europe on the Thursday of convention. I've been fortunate enough that Tess has put up with me for 25 years.
Longer.
And it's our 25th wedding anniversary in May. And we're actually celebrating that in Paris and then heading over. And then after that, I say goodbye to Tess and she goes straight on to South Africa. So we're only in Australia now until the 15th of May. So certainly we can have a look at trying to do something before then, just if there's any interest in just an overview of the business or the opportunity for anyone who might be interested. So please reach out to Crystal and let's see if there's interest. We can get this group again, and anyone wants to invite some people from South Africa, bring them on. Michelle, to your point, we certainly were and are still looking at opportunity for Durban. We haven't locked in anything yet, but we had some issues with venues and getting things finalized, and also just fitting in dates. It is potentially still a possibility, but we're still trying to work around getting that to happen as well.
I think I might just honestly, just at this point, might just do the 4 areas at this time. I think squeezing in 5 is massive, and I have to see my mum and, you know, Craig's mum and dad. So I may not get there.
We'll see how we go.
Durban. Folks, any other questions from your end? You can just unmute yourself or pop them in the question box. Let's see. Oh, we'll miss you. We'll miss you too, Jody.
We'll be there in spirit, I promise you.
All right. Maybe we'll call it then for the night. So thank you so much for joining us. I actually think, Crystal, to your point, it might be a really good idea to do something, and not just once either, you know, to put something in place, where we do something more regular for our South African client base and for our South African communities. I think that would be really good, and I'm quite happy to collaborate on that with anyone, to be honest. Okay.
The more excitement before the launch, the better.
I think you're great. And what we wanted to do is anyone who's going to the events, we want to run sort of Zoom updates after that to keep them engaged, because it might be a month or 2 or 3 even after we've been running classes to keep people interested. And we will have people on the ground, but I think if we can have like a fortnightly hookup with anyone who's from South Africa and just share something new or anything else we find, we'll try and do that as well. So all good.
Thank you so much for everyone, and thanks for all of you going to do a doTERRA pose at at convention. Send me a selfie. I'd love that. All right, much love to everyone. Just lovely to see all of you joining us tonight. We're excited. Have a wonderful week and enjoy the rest of your night.
Awesome. Thanks for your time. Cheers. Bye.